Right, good evening, folks. We're going to give people a couple of minutes just to filter into the room and give you a chance to settle in before we get started. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Sarah. I'm the Education Manager at Prsm England, and I do lots of the youth outreach and education work. I deliver a lot of the training that we do, and I do a lot of the programming and artistic development of what we deliver at BBE. And then we've got Rosie. Say hello, Rosie.
Hi everyone, hi, I'm Rose Banham. I look after all the membership side of things. I'm involved with the Conductors Association and do various other things like the awards and the AGM and helping out at events.
Yeah, amazing. So before we get started, just how you can interact and get involved this evening. We're going to be aiming to run for about an hour, and that's giving room for any questions that you've got as well. So if you've got questions as we move through the slides, please pop them into the Q&A box, and we can come to them either as we go along or at the end. There's no such thing as a stupid question, so please do ask it if you have anything, but we'll also be sharing contact details of a few members of the team, so if you've got anything direct that you want to ask, then you can do that after as well. If you've got any kind of just comments that you wanted to add as we move along that isn't a direct question, you can do that using the chat button, and you can send that either to just the panelists, or just myself and Rosie, particularly if you've got a tech issue or anything like that, or a comment to all of the attendees on the session. We do also have closed captioning on the webinars that we do, so if you need that, or if that's something that would be helpful, then the CC button can provide you with a live transcript of what we're doing. And just really an FYI that we're recording this session. Those who are attendees, your video isn't on screen at the moment, so you don't need to worry about that, but we are recording it so that it can go up in our members resources and people can watch it back. So if you found the session useful, or you think that you'd like others to see it, just let us know, and we can help you get access to that, so you can share it with anyone who might think it would be useful. So just a little bit about Prsm England. For those of you who don't know, I know there's some of you on tonight who are already members of BBE and are wanting to make sure that you're making the most of the membership that you already have with us, and some of you aren't members, so welcome, all of you. So we're a membership organisation for brass bands, and we have members that are bands and other community organisations, events, associations, traders. Our kind of membership has diversified quite a lot in the last couple of years, and we represent kind of all sorts of banding organisations now. We are funded by Arts Council England as the sector support organisation for brass bands. So that means that we have membership, and we have, you know, certain roles to serve our members, but we also have a kind of wider remit to support the sector as a whole. We are funded by Arts Council England, but we also have a number of other funders as well. Garfield Weston, the Foyle Foundation, and Backstage Trust being the other prominent ones. And they fund kind of different elements of the work that we do, some of our education work and our fundraising work and bits and bobs like that. But a lot of our core funding comes from Arts Council England. So our activities include kind of advocacy for bands, negotiating deals with members, running workshops, events and training, and although we do have an office base in Barnsley, we've got staff all over the country now, and lots of us work kind of remotely and that kind of thing, pop into the office every now and again. So we currently we've got 479 member kind of memberships, if you like, but in reality we represent, I think it's 580-ish. Rosie did tell me the number just before and I forgot it. 580 individual bands, because as we'll talk through in a moment, there's kind of different levels of membership, and sometimes people take out membership representing a number of bands within their organisation. And in reality, what that means is we represent about 15,000 people. Because if your band takes out membership, then you as an individual, as part of that band, gets access to all of the services and all of the kind of all of our member offering, you get that as well. It's not just for the band secretary and for the band to take advantage of. There's lots of benefits that you as an individual, as part of a member band, can take advantage of as well. So please do remember that. Great, over to you, Rosie.
Okay, so if some of you are not members of BBE yet, I'll just take you through our pricing structure. So we do have an individual membership. So this might be for someone who likes watching bands and they're not actually connected with a particular band. They pay £25 a year. BBCA is the Breast Band Conductors Association. So your conductor could join that for £44, which includes the individual membership of BBE. Then we have the student youth band rate, £75, and then you'll see that we've got different prices according to the number of bands in your organisation. So you would join as an organisation, but say you've got a senior band and a youth band, then you would two-band organisation, £150, or you might have senior band, youth band, junior band, or you might be like a school that's got 4 bands, 4 youth bands. There's all different pricing structure. But you see, for any of the organisations, not the individual ones, you can get a 2.5% discount if you set up a recurring payment method. So the best thing to have is direct debit, because that comes from the band's own account, not anyone's personal account. So if the personnel change in your band, that just carries on. And once you've set it up, it's there every year. You don't need to do anything about it. You just get a reminder saying your membership's about to renew. You don't have to do anything. You can do a recurring credit card, but then if your personnel change, you find that you have to cancel it on someone's card and someone else has to set it up. So it's a bit more hassle. So direct debit is the best way to go. If you've been just paying the £100 up to now and you want to change to be on the direct debit, you can do next time your membership comes for renewal. You can go on the joiners page, or if you've got more than one signatory on your account, so say you need 2 people to sign a cheque, we've got a form you can fill in. You just send it to me and I do the rest, and we can switch you over to direct debit. You get the discount and you don't have to go to your bank or anything. It's really easy to do. So have a think about that for next time your membership comes up. Okay. So just to show you the benefits of your membership fee and how you could more or less get the whole membership cost back. So if you do the recurring membership, you're saving 2.5% on your membership. Say you want a volunteer DBS check for someone in your band. If you were to go to another organisation, you might have to pay £45 for that. But we do them absolutely free, as many as you need for volunteers. We do professional ones at a reduced rate as well. So you could save £45 straight away off your £100 membership. And then say you want to go on a band safe training course, that's that safeguarding course, which would cost a member £60. You would save £40, I think is from the full fee. You will get a discount on that, so you can soon get your membership back. Other things that save you money are events are often cheaper for people who are members. And also I found with my band, when we joined, we took advantage of the deals that BBE's got with insurance companies. And so we switched to our band insurance and the savings covered the whole of the membership. So it's really worth looking into that. And you can use these reasons to justify why you should join if you're not already a member. Okay. So to look at some of the benefits, as mentioned, discounts on BBE and partner events, such as conducting organisations events, the free Dbs checks, and also lots of help with your safeguarding. We've got a dedicated safeguarding officer, Sam Fisher, who can answer all your questions. We've got resources to help you put your policies and everything in place. We've got training courses, which Sarah's going to come in onto all this later on, but that's really a valuable benefit of your membership. I've said about the insurance deals. One thing that if you're a member, you can access the member resources on the website. So this is a whole section of the website that other people can't see. And this is where we save all the webinars we've been doing, lots of toolkits and helpful information. So you can go back through all these resources and find things you need. So it's well worth joining for that. You can vote at the BBE AGM, so you can have a say in what we do and how we run. So this year it's going to be online on the 18th of October. And your membership also comes with free affiliate membership of Making Music, who are partners of ours. So later on, Sarah's going to go through the benefits of that. Okay. So let's make the most of the BBE website. So if you sign up to a shopping online or Amazon or BBC Sounds or anything, they always want you to set up an account and have a password and log in, don't they? So we're just the same. So it's really easy to do. I'll go through this, but you can just see in the top right hand corner, it says member login, create account. So you'd go on that, and by creating an account, you can link yourself with a band, with your band, and then this gives you all the benefits that your band's paid for. So if we go on to the next slide, I'll show you how to do this. So this is just setting up a personal account. So what you should do is set up an account with your own personal email. So it's not a shared account for the band or secretary at thisband.org.uk or whatever. You want a personal account because you might come on webinars like this or go in the band safe training or access various resources that is in you as a person. So we can't share training across people all logged on one account. So you do need your own account, but you will link it to your band. So if we go to the next screen. So when you've logged in, you have a dashboard like this. So in here you can change information about yourself, your musical profile, you can put what instrument you play, things like that. Your details and preferences, you can decide, I don't want to receive phone calls, I don't want emails. You can tick all your preferences. If your band's not a member, you can register them. But the main tile on here is register as part of a member band. So if you haven't done all this already, or if you're quite new to it, you've set up your own account, you come to your dashboard, click on register as part of a member band. And as you start typing in the name of your band, it brings up the list and you can select your band. And that sends an email to the person who is the admin for your BBE website account, someone in your band who set it up in the first place. And they will think, yes, I know you, I'll accept you, and you can be linked with our band. And that's the magic key that gives you the access to the discounts and the members area and everything else. So you can have as many people as you can if you get them to register as part of your band. And that means they can then just get the emails, the newsletters direct to them and manage their own accounts. So if we go on to the next slide. So if you're a band admin, or your band admin can make you a band admin, you can have as many as you like, you can see the group dashboard. So the group profile is where you can add information all about your band, what nights you rehearse, you can upload your picture of your band and various things to promote your band. The next tile, this is where the admin can manage the group members, so they can make other people administrators, they can take people off of left, they can invite new members to link to the band. The next tile just tells you when your membership expires. Jump on the insurance one, you can click on that to find out about all the different insurance companies. Let's move back. Then add event. So you'll have been on the events page to sign up for this webinar, And you might have seen that across the top, there's all the BBE events. And if you scroll down a bit, there's the members events. So you can post up any concerts with the poster, the pricing, the location, any information you like. This is a chance for you to advertise your own concerts. And next we've got add vacancy. So if you've got an empty seat, you can go through here, just tick what you're looking for. It could be just cornets in general, or a second cornet, or conductor, and that will get advertised on the Find a Band page under your band, which we'll get onto. And then just whilst we're here, there's the BOPA status box. So we'll tell you about the BOPA later on, but this, when you're eligible, it lights up green and you get another box you can click on for a child performance license. We'll come on to that later on, okay? So I've mentioned the member resources that you can get to once you've linked up with your band. So there's all sorts of things in here. We've got webinars to Phil Harper, how to lead a good rehearsal, things like an inclusion toolkit, how to write your own EDI policy, previous newsletters, interviews with all sorts of people, real variety of resources that I hope you find really useful, and you can just search on various topics, and we add to these all the time, okay? I mentioned Find a Band, so this is a big tab on the website. So this is, if you were advertising a vacancy, this is where people looking for a seat in a band can go and search. So we're searching for soprano cornet in the Northwest, and these are the bands that have come up that have got a spare seat for soprano. That I have to say, Deaf Band have since filled their soprano slot. So people can use it when they're looking for a space in a band, but it's also sort of people looking for a band to do a concert can come on here, search for a band in their area, and you click on it, it's got the contact details, so people could actually find you to book you through our Find a Band service, and you can see who else is members. Okay.
Awesome. So just on the kind of members area and all that kind of thing, if you aren't a member currently, you can still create an account to access our band save toolkit and sign up to receive some of our mailings and that kind of thing. So if you're not members currently but you're thinking about it, then I'd recommend that you go and create an account, and when you do get to the point of becoming members, which we hope you will, then that can activate a few other things, and then you can start utilizing a lot more of the features. But there are some things that we have that we are always going to have free to access to everyone, and there are some features as our kind of role of sector support that we want to keep open. But if you want to hear from us, if you want to make sure that you're getting our emails and that kind of thing, then go ahead and create an account even if you're not a member. Cool. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the training and events that we run. So as part of our Arts Council funding, we've been running a series of development workshops, and at the moment what that looks like is artistic development and player development. So our artistic development program is led by the wonderful Philip Harper. So it's a full day with him talking about everything that it means to be a conductor, and there's a little bit of waving your arms around, but it's pretty limited. That's not all what it's about. It's about thinking about creative programming, it's about thinking about how you lead a rehearsal and all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really fascinating session. And then we also run a player development workshop day, which is half of Paul Kosh and half of Roger Webster. So that's thinking about how to develop a really, really really solid practice routine, getting all the basics right, and then Roger does a really fascinating session on the kind of psychology of performance and that kind of thing. So the three of them have all done online sessions as well, and they've all got the kind of elements of what they deliver in the development in-person workshops that they've done as Zoom sessions that are available on the members' resources. So if you're not able to make it to one of the in-person workshops, or if it's a little bit out of your area, then do have a look at those. These sessions have been a touring workshop series, so they've kind of, sorry, it's like a load of motorbikes going past me. They are kind of coming to the end of their tour, if you like. They've been around loads and loads of different parts of the country since 2018, when we first launched this series. As our kind of Arts Council funding cycle changes, there will be a new programme that's slightly amended that will be starting from April. So we hope that we'll be able to share more information about that once we know what our funding looks like in autumn. But as Rosie said, since the wonders of Zoom has become much more accessible to everyone, what we've been able to do and the kind of events that we do has really changed over the last couple of years. But we've really grown as an organisation as well. Before the pandemic, there were 5 of us. Now, including all of our regular freelancers, there's about 25 of us. So we're a very different organisation. It means we can do a lot more for our members. So we've done all sorts of webinars over the last couple of years, all of which are saved in the members area for you to watch back whenever you like. Some that we've done that kind of the last few ones that have been really interesting. Alan Withington doing a session on programming to celebrate minority voices, but we also regularly do sessions on kind of fundraising focused stuff, and working with a lot of our partners as well, including the Prsm Conductors Association, who relatively regularly have a webinar slot with us as well. So we usually have about a webinar once a month, something like that, and then also regular drop-ins and kind of discussion sessions. So, for example, tomorrow night, we've got a drop-in session that's all about selecting music for beginner bands. So it's with our education team. They're going to present some of their ideas, but also these sessions are also a chance for you to network and get to know other bands across the country and share your ideas as well. So we will have a kind of a selection of that kind of those kind of events running throughout the year. We also deliver events that are very much training rather than workshops, and the two main ones that we deliver are Band Safe, which I'm going to come on to in a little bit more detail a little bit later on, and Band Governance Bootcamp. And Governance Bootcamp is the newest one. It's launched last year, and that's all about making sure that your organisation is robust, making sure that you're the right charity structure if that is something that's right for you, making sure that you have the right people around you doing the right things in the right roles. So that's something that myself and my colleague Alex deliver, and that's kind of Zoom sessions, but also we as a group, but then we also do one-to-one follow-up, and you get some kind of bespoke follow-up after the training as well. We also have the Brass Bands conference, which is in October. We've just launched last week the early bird tickets for that. So it's a full day of all sorts of really interesting sessions. We've got speakers. The theme this year is talking about banding for life, which is a really broad theme, but obviously talks a lot about education. So we've got Ian Bousfield as our keynote speaker, and then all sorts of workshops and discussion sessions throughout the day, including a panel discussion at the end. It's something that we do every year, and we'll keep doing, so do have a look at that. Again, it's just a great opportunity to network and meet people who do banding and love banding across the country. Something that's been really great, particularly about the Zoom sessions, is that people are in the same room at the other side of the country speaking to people doing banding in a completely different place, and that's been really valuable. So I definitely encourage you to have a look at any and all of those. So all of the events that we do, there is some member benefit, so they're either free for members, heavily discounted for members, or only for members. So with all of those sessions, there is always a member benefit, and if you come to a handful of them across the year, that's, you know, even just one of you in the band, that's going to, you know, pay for most of your band feedback. So at our annual conference, we present the Breast Cancer England Awards. So this is our way of kind of highlighting significant people in the sector and highlighting people who are doing really, really great work on the ground. So we have a number of awards, so social impact, innovation, outstanding contribution for under 18s, and then outstanding contribution for over 18s, a lifetime achievement award, services to youth, and a band project award. So they are nominated by anyone and everyone who wants to nominate, and then selected by our trustees as a shortlist. It's a great opportunity to share people in your area, in your little world of banding, that do amazing things. So we have Rosie knows the secret list. But we'll be announcing those at our conference, and being able to share those and really, really celebrate those people who have done amazing things. But it's something that we'll do every year, and so make sure you keep an eye out for those nominations if you've got someone that you really, really want to share.
I think we open for nominations about March time.
Yeah.
March.
Awesome. So a service that we've launched this year pretty recently is our fundraising service. So this has been supported by the Backstage Trust, who have awarded us a grant to be able to take on an in-house fundraising manager, which has been very exciting, and means that we can offer really, really subsidised fundraising services to bands. So that looks like identifying the best funding that you need. So it'll often look like a one-to-one consultation to start with, to figure out what you want funding for, what you need, whether that's to build your dream band hall, or to celebrate your anniversary in a really creative way, or to run an education project. So Pam, our fundraising manager, will kind of talk you through what it is that you're looking for, and then she can find the best funding opportunities for you. So that's kind of one element of it, her being able to pull those out. But then she can also provide kind of coaching, so helping you develop a case for support, which is going to help you, in the long term, be able to go to all sorts of different trusts and foundations, to be able to find funding ongoing, not just for that one application, and support you through an application process. But she can also write and support you writing your funding proposal, to give you the best chance of success. And Pam used to work for Arts Council, so she has some really, really helpful insight knowledge into the Arts Council process, and what they prioritise and what they look for. So we specifically have a service that looks at writing your Arts Council funding application, and submitting that on Grantium, which is the peskiest online portal that has in existence, and if you're not used to it, it can be a really real barrier to putting in those applications. So that's something that she can support with. So this is a service that's only for BBE members, and we don't offer this to non-members at all. And as I say, because we have that funding from the Backstage Trust, it's really, really subsidised. So in terms of supporting you writing a grant application, that can start from about £125, which in the grand scheme of what you'd expect to get back is nothing really. But that can, varies according to how much support you need, how much work we feel is going to go into it, and how much the grant amount is looking to be. So they're all factors that we'll take into account when we kind of look at how much that's going to cost. What we also have as a kind of add-on service that you can buy in is additional kind of admin support and project management to help you deliver that. So if you're looking for something really ambitious that you haven't done before, and you think that the kind of volunteer time that you have within your band, it just isn't going to stretch to deliver it, then we can add in some kind of BBE admin time to support you do that. So for bigger applications that are going to be more than you would dream that you would do usually, that can really help you kind of be sure that you're going to deliver that, and support you with kind of evaluating what you've done, reporting back to it, and doing everything that you need to do. We also have lots of other funding opportunities. The route through the fundraising service isn't the only one. So we are the custodians of the Norman Jones Trust that was left towards in legacy some time ago. When I say we get very few applications to the Norman Jones Trust, so it's always one that I shout to members to make sure that they take advantage of. So there are, again, this is one that is exclusively for BBE members. It isn't offered to anyone else. But there's lots of opportunity in there, and the Norman Jones Trust is there really to support supporting education in banding and to support innovative projects and collaborations and commissions. So they're all things that are kind of, very, very simple for you to look at, that you're probably going to be doing anyway, that we can support you in doing that and shouting about that a little bit more. And then we also have the Brass Band Emergency Fund. So this is a fund that from our first crowdfunding campaign that we did back in 2020, I think. We lots of bands fundraised and we supported that campaign, but we also had a pot that people could donate to if they wanted to help bands in need, but they didn't know who they wanted to support. So that pot is there for bands who come under kind of uncertain circumstances, that need emergency support, that their banding organisation or what they do is really at risk. So that's that pot is there again for members to support them at a time of kind of really uncertainty and need. Then we also run an annual crowdfunding campaign. So this is open to members and non-members. Lots of people across the sector take part in this. But that is supported by Crowdfunding UK, who are one of the biggest crowdfunding services in the UK. And they've offered brilliant support over the last few years. And anyone who has taken part in any of the crowdfunding campaigns that we've done over the last couple of years, Crowdfunder offer no fees for using their platform. So you keep all the money. Sometimes when you do use crowdfunding platforms, they can kind of take a decent cream off the top, and that can really, really limit what you're actually able to take home. But Crowdfunder don't do that. They offer this service for us fee-free as part of the partnership, but they also offer loads of bespoke training and support to get you through and do the best that you can from that campaign as well. So they offer coaching sessions that they deliver that we support with. They offer loads of resources and a toolkit that if you follow their rules, then you will do really, really well. And we've had bands that have raised on their own kind of £10,000-20,000 in the course of a 4-week crowdfunding campaign. So if it's something that you're thinking of, then we are planning to do the campaign again this Christmas. Cool. So national advocacy. So as part of our sector support role, and really as a way for us to represent our members on all levels, we do a certain amount of national advocacy, and that can look like all sorts of things, but some really significant ways that we do that is child performance licensing. Now this is something that until a few years ago wasn't something that was generally known or thought about in the brass band world, but has had quite a lot of ramifications if it wasn't followed correctly. So we didn't want child performance licensing to become a barrier to young people taking part in banding. We wanted to make sure that we were looking for a solution rather than trying to limit, which has happened in other sectors, and we were trying to avoid. So we went to the Secretary of State for Education and applied for a national BOPA, so it's Body of Persons Approval, and that means that we hold that licence, and we have developed a system with the Secretary of State that allows our member bands to apply to make use of it. And that's really, really important, because that means that as part of our request, we asked for heightened safeguarding measures, so taking part in our band safe training that I'll talk about in a moment, because we felt that this was really, really important. We wanted to make sure that we weren't finding a way around child performance licensing. We were looking at its root, which was to protect young people in these circumstances. So that's some work that we've done, and really that national BOPA was kind of the first of its kind. It's not something that that has happened other than in Scouts and Guides, and they have a slightly different arrangement that has been there for quite a long time. But that's not only has that helped get brass bands on kind of known and in awareness in Westminster, but it's also meant that that we have become a kind of real knowledge base when it comes to safeguarding, and we now are people that other arts and community organisations come to ask for safeguarding help, and that raises the profile and raises the confidence of brass bands generally. So that's been a really, really positive thing. Another example is throughout the pandemic, we built really good relationships with DCMS, again on the back of our relationship that we already had existing with Secretary of State for Education, and that meant that we could communicate with them what it really looked like for bands, what the restrictions looked like for bands, what that limitation meant, and making sure that DCMS really understood what the average band room looked like and what the restrictions were going to mean. Because we had that direct line with DCMS, that meant that it was there was often a limited amount we could do in terms of influencing what the guidance looked like, but we could make sure that they understood what that relevance was to brass bands and understand what that meant. And that meant that we could respond quickly and have up-to-date guidance as quickly as possible to get out to bands. We did an awful lot of kind of creating example risk assessments for people to use, doing drop-in sessions, creating as many resources as we could, and that was because we knew that if we didn't do that, that would be a real risk to the sector as a whole, either that people weren't being safe or that activity would stop completely. So that was a big part of our 2020, was doing COVID advice in one form or another, and that will continue over the next few years, but as it morphs more into general health and safety legislation, that's something that we'll continue to update on, but also kind of building into our more regular resources of updating on safeguarding and all sorts of other areas really. And then Challenge 2030 is kind of the increasingly important area of equality, diversity and inclusion. That's something that's a real high priority for us, certainly. We know that the future of the sector, in order for that to be strong, needs to be a diverse one, and one that's open to as many people, as many young people, but as many people of all sorts of backgrounds as possible. So our Challenge 2030 is our challenge to ensure that banding looks like the sector, looks like the people that it represents in that area. So it's a really important goal for us, and isn't an easy goal at all, but it's something that we're really, really passionate about. Part of our way of achieving that is through our education programme, and making sure that the young people that we work with that are coming through the pipeline are kind of getting access to banding from all sorts of walks of life, but also creating lots of different kind of inclusion focused resources. That means that bands who are already strong and with thriving members can look at the ways that they are that they're operating, and make sure that they're doing that in the right way. So some really simple things like disability checklists to make sure that your venue and places that you're booking are suitable for as many people as possible, through kind of unconscious bias support, lots of different areas like that. So if you look at our members resources, you can find all sorts of things that will support you in that goal, but it's something that we're going to be increasingly vocal about. So when it comes to youth education and outreach, there's a number of things that we do to support in that area. So we run the National Youth Brass Band Championships, colloquially known as the Youth Champs. So it's an annual event that supports youth banding of all levels really. So we have this year, we had the debut section, the Prsm debut section, which is complete beginners. So we had people performing on the stage and taking part for the first time, but that was their first ever performance, and that goes all the way up to the championship bands who are as the qualifiers for the European Youth Championships. So it's really, really varied in terms of the level that take part in that event, but kind of the ethos underpinning it is that it's inclusive and fun is something that we're really, really passionate about that youth banding should be. So it's yeah, we'll be announcing more information about next year's Youth Champs in the next couple of weeks, but it's an open event, again, that members and non-members can take part in, but there are some benefits in terms of discounts for members who want to take part. We'll be doing a number of drop-in sessions across autumn for anyone who's interested in taking part in the Youth Champs, about how we can support getting you there, and any questions that you've got about how your groups might want to take part. Then we also have Brass Foundations, which is our kind of pilot education programme. Now this started in the midst of the pandemic, so our team started in January 2021. Have an outreach team of 5 who are in areas across, kind of spread out across the country, and their remit is to support bands, schools and music education hubs with their brass provision, with quite a simple aim that we want to make sure that that young people have access to brass and have opportunities to progress. So if young people are taking part in a wider ops programme or have the opportunity to learn in school, that we're making sure that we can find ways that they can progress to a brass band or another ensemble, but the main aim is that young people continue playing, which is the way that we can support them into filtering through into our brass bands and taking part in it throughout their lives. So we currently have outreach team based in Warwickshire, Camden, Hertfordshire, Gloucestershire and in Lancashire. Now they do support a little bit further afield in that where we can, but they do have limited capacity. So they are there to support their kind of local area in all sorts of things. And what that looks like at the moment is support with recruiting new players, setting up education projects, creating partnerships with your local music education hub and supporting community educators. So it's really, really broad, the work that we do. And the team, we, as this has been a pilot project and we've been kind of patching on funding as we've gone to keep them supported. We originally only had them for 6 months, and we now have confirmed that we have the project until the end of March at the moment. So we've been able to make real impact with the work that we've done so far. There's thousands of young people that have kind of been able to be involved in brass and be really enthused about brass and brass banding through that project. So again, this is something that we can support members with, but members can also access the team for one-to-one support, for sessions that they deliver, for support in recruiting in their youth bands and helping their youth provision. That's all accessible to you as members. So safeguarding. So I've mentioned safeguarding a couple of times, but it's a really important part of what we do. So our current safeguarding programme, which is BandSafe, has been probably 10 years in the making in reality. We developed BandSafe in partnership with NSPCC. So when I first joined BBE back in February 19, my kind of first project was working with NSPCC to develop and kind of finesse the BandSafe toolkit and training course. And it's really designed to support you in developing your policies and procedures. What it isn't is a set of policies that you can stamp your name on and take away, because what we think is really important is that they are living, breathing policies that you understand and can operate from. It's such an important area, safeguarding, and although lots of us feel as though banding is family, and that you know, lots of us would would support our banders till the end, we do know that there are safeguarding issues within banding, and it's really important that as many people as possible are aware, so they can pick those up and make sure that people are truly safe when they are in the band room. So the BandSafe policy writing toolkit is available for members and non-members. It's free to access for everyone. And really it's very simple to use. It just asks you a series of questions about your current policies and your current provision, and then it will prompt you to kind of challenge what you do already and supply you with resources that will help you write your safeguarding policies that are really suitable for you. Then we also have our training course, which is the band safe training. That's a 3.5 hour training course delivered by our safeguarding officer, Sam. Again, this was developed with NSPCC, and we regularly check back with them to kind of make sure that it is up to date. What that does is it's a training course that is really, really specific to the kind of activities that brass bands take part in. So lots of people who will kind of take on the role of safeguarding officer within a band might have come from a school or a healthcare setting often, and their knowledge of safeguarding will be based on kind of that kind of context. And what Band Safe does is it's really, really specific to the type of needs that you'll have in the band room, which are often different, and the kind of responsibilities that you'll have as a safeguarding officer in a community setting are slightly different. So it goes through all of the things that you will need to know in terms of managing that appropriately. We usually run those training sessions about twice a month and try and do them as often as possible in evenings and weekends, so that people who have got commitments can make sure they access them. And we often have quite full courses with lots of people, again, from across the country, and it's a really good opportunity for you to discuss with people who are dealing with situations similar to you, and workshop those ideas and discuss with them. So again, it's a really, really good opportunity for networking. As Rosie mentioned earlier on, we, as part of our membership offer, we offer free volunteer DBS checks for everyone who needs them. And what we don't necessarily recommend is that you just blanket DBS check everyone in your band. What we can offer is safeguarding support and advice to make sure that you're going through that process appropriately, that you're requesting DBS checks from the right people at the right time, and that any issues that you might have, anything that flags on a DBS check, anything that you need risk assessed or need to report further, we can give you one-to-one support with that. There's been a number of kind of safeguarding related cases, some of them that have been in the press in the last few weeks, and whenever that comes up, we always get a little flurry of people coming to us, you know, for reassurance or to tell us that something has happened or anything like that. And part of Sam's role is to support you in that. So if you really do have something that you need support with, or you have something that you're concerned with in your band that you want advice on, that's something that we can support you with, and supporting with you taking that further if you needed to. What we'd also recommend always is to utilise the update service of the DBS check, and this is an online service, and again is just a small fee if you are a volunteer, but it just means that it keeps it up to date regularly. Guidance is usually to get a new DBS check around every 3 years, and that's usually what we'd recommend to members. But what the update service does is, if nothing has changed within that time, you don't need to go through the process of updating and doing a new form. So that can just be really, really helpful way to make sure that that you're where you need to be. There are lots of safeguarding specific resources, including all of the things on the toolkit on the members resources, but we've also got some specific drop-in sessions and obviously one-to-one sessions with Sam as well that you'll be able to access. Cool, so just aware of time, so I'm going to flick through this relatively quickly. Again, as Rosie mentioned, a really big benefit to being members of Brass Bands England is we have affiliate membership with Making Music. And what that means is if you pay for membership of BBE, you also get totally free membership of Making Music and everything that they have to offer, which makes it really, really good value. And in some circumstances, cheaper to do that via BBE than going to Making Music themselves, depending on the size of organisation. Lots of the resources that we have, sometimes I will actively not do a resource if I know that Making Music has a really good one there already, so that it doesn't duplicate so much. So if you're a member and you go on the members resources and you can't find something that's quite what you're looking for, I would always recommend that you head over to the Making Music site and check there too. Something that that it means that we're a really good partnership is that we actually use the same website developer, so our back-end systems look very, very similar, and your kind of members dashboard will look at the moment very similar on the Making Music site, and it's similar to navigate. I think they might be changing, but I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but at the moment there's a lot of familiarity, so it shouldn't be like learning something completely from fresh. Some really, really valuable things that they have are a charity registration service. So again, this is an additional service that they provide that's a small fee and supports you through the process of registering for a charity as the first time, which can sometimes be quite an admin heavy, laborious process, but they kind of take that stress away and support you through that. They have kind of a guide constitution and lots of things like that can just make it that bit easier for you. We also cooperate quite regularly on advocacy and regularly throughout COVID pandemic, and the advice that we've given, it's something that we've done jointly. We've done joint responses to Westminster, and we do relatively regularly join up to do something that both fits with what we want to support our members in. Making Music are kind of the national body for all amateur music making, but a really, really big proportion of who they support are choirs, and then they do have you know, a decent number of band and other ensemble memberships as well, but they are quite heavily focused towards choirs, and that's often what they focus on, whereas the benefit of coming through us and then also getting the support from Making Music is that we are totally focused on bands. That's our number one kind of thing that we are fighting for, so we can be really, really niche and specific around that. Making Music also have a PRS collection service, so if you go through them and have one of the kind of general licenses, then they do a once a year collection, which just makes it a little bit easier, and there's a discount on that. There's lots more information on their website that you'll be able to find out about if that's right for you. And all of their, as I said, all of their training and resources and events, you can access them as if you'd taken out membership with Making Music. Crazy.
Right, so my other role is Secretary of the Brass Band Conductors Association, which was formerly known as the NABBC. The change of name sort of reflects that this is an international organisation open to any conductors to join, or any budding conductors. So some of the benefits of joining are that we have a mentor scheme. So this is free for members. We put you in touch with the area rep near you, and you discuss the sort of thing you're looking for, whether it's experience conducting or putting together a programme or how to approach a contest. You can discuss exactly what you're looking for and just agree, be either with the rep or they'll find a suitable person for you to work with, and you just arrange a set period of time. You might get to go and conduct some bands, or you could send in recordings of you conducting and ask for feedback. It's very personalised sort of service. You could take them up on that. They have an annual conducting competition, which was a couple of weeks ago at Eccles Town Hall. We had people from Switzerland, Italy, various countries all up and down England. And that was a fantastic day for people to try out their conducting skills and become the winner of this fabulous competition. So there is reduced entry fee for members. As I said before, you get the free individual membership of BBE and everything that goes with that. You get a free professional DBS check. So whereas in BBE gives you a discounted professional check, we give you a one-off professional DBS, the full cost of it, which is almost probably more than what your membership costs. So it's worth doing it for that, if nothing else. We have weekly top tips. So James Holt, our chairman, posts a new top tip on Facebook every week, some little gem for a conductor to think about. We're about to launch a members directory, so you can sort of advertise your services, or people can look for conductors in our organisation. And we've also been having every other month we have an online virtual networking session. So as conductor, you don't probably get much chance to chat with other conductors and swap notes and everything. So these are sessions on Zoom where we get together and we'll pick a topic and have a good chat about it and go through all the ins and outs. So that's worth signing up for. So you can join the Conductors Association on the Join Us page of the BBE website. And if you look at the section what we do, there's Brass Band Conductors Association's got several pages of examples of everything that's going on.
Awesome. So we're just to flag that we're very, very close to the end. We timed that almost perfectly, Rosie, to the session. So if you've got questions for us, then now is your time to make sure that you put them in the Q&A box for us to answer if you've got any questions about anything to do with BBE or the membership that we offer. Here is if you need to find help or you want to find out more information after this session, there's a few people that you might want to direct your query to directly. So Rosie is the membership services manager, so anything to do with kind of taking out membership or anything like that, that's Rosie's. And if you're kind of struggling with accessing the website, struggling with getting your kind of back end up and working or inviting members, then Rosie is the one to access. But often it will be already answered in the FAQ, so we'd always encourage you to have a look at the FAQ section of the website, because there's lots of how-to guides and that kind of thing to make sure that that you know what you're doing. If you've got any queries around any of the events that we run or education programs, accessing the Breast Foundations team, anything like that, then you can drop me an email, events@bbe.org.uk. If you want to get in touch with Sam, our safeguarding officer, directly, then his email is there. And you can also email Pam, our fundraising manager, if you're interested in accessing the fundraising service too. A number of us, not everyone, but quite a few of us also have the ability for you to book directly into our diary as well. So if you can see on our email signatures, I've got it in mind, just a little link that says book a meeting with me, then you can do that, and you can book directly a slot in either for a phone call or a Zoom call if there's something really specific that you want to catch up on. But if you go on our website to our key people, then you can see everyone there and find out a little bit more about them, and if they've got the ability to book straight in, then you can do that there as well. Cool. So we've only got a couple of minutes left. So if you have got any questions for us, now is the time to just pop them into the chat. But if not, then you can email any of the members directly to ask anything that you have. Just a reminder that, as I said at the beginning, we are recording this session, and we list the recordings of the resources on our members resource area, but because this is a free to access one, we'll also be putting this on our YouTube page. So if there's anyone that you think would be really worthwhile them hearing anything that we've talked about today, and particularly your band secretary or treasurer that might need a little push to make sure that you do get registered, then you'll be able to find that in the next couple of days on our YouTube page. But I will also drop everyone an email once that's up and live, so you can see that as well. Rosie, anything that you think we might have forgotten?
I've forgotten what it is. No, I think we've covered quite a lot there, but just there was the office phone number. If you're trying to get hold of anyone, you can ring that, and then we can just get someone to ring you back. A lot of us are working at home, but we can get people to ring you back if you.
Awesome. So just one comment here. Thanks, John. I hope you found that useful. just wanted to finish off with a couple of quick plugs. As I mentioned before, our annual conference is on the 22nd of October at the Life Centre in Manchester. Members tickets are available at the moment at just £5. That's for a full day of loads and loads of different training, workshop opportunities, and your lunch included and everything. So I would definitely recommend you coming along to that to really get the most of it and be part of the conversation. We are here to kind of to serve our members and act in your best interests, but we can do that best when you tell us what you need from us. So the conference is a really good way to do that. Kind of lots of discussions and particularly lots of panel discussions that will be taking feedback from the people who are there, and that will feed into our kind of future strategy. So I definitely recommend that you're there. We also have a number of training events throughout the year, and you can find out information about that on bbe.org.uk/events. Tracy's just asked what's available online for the conference. So we are going to be live streaming the main hall this year, and the breakout sessions are all going to be recorded and then available later. We're going to be opening up booking for digital passes in August, so keep an eye on that. If you're not able to be there in person but want to take part, then you definitely will be able to. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. That's TED on 8 o'clock. Please do get in touch if you've got any questions or there's anything that you need from us. And yeah, look forward to speaking to you soon.
Bye. Bye.